morning, everyone. My name is Jamie Womack-Williams. I'm the State Education's Issues Coordinator for Texas AFT. Our nonprofit is the Bridges Institute for Professional Development, and today we are bringing you pedagogy in the virtual classroom. And we have Beatrice Gonzalez, who is going to talk to us about everything that has to do with the Google Classroom. So Beatrice, I am going to turn it over to you.
Well, hello, everybody. I hope you guys can hear me. My name is Beatriz Gonzalez, and I'm about to share my screen so we can get started on today's session. So just give me 1 second. Alrighty. So are we all good? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can see your.
All right, awesome. Well, like Miss Jamie mentioned, my name is Beatriz Gonzalez. I do have Miss Vianney Moreno, who was a colleague of mine and now works at a neighboring district. I don't know if she wants to just do a quick introduction of herself. She did facilitate with this training. Miss Vianney, are you available?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here. And you know, I was in La Jolla for a while, for 12 years, and now I'm in McAllen. But I love the fact that we have this opportunity to help teachers to get ready for the virtual learning. And thank you for joining us. And there's going to be more through the year. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Moreno. Like Jamie mentioned, my name is Beatriz Gonzalez. I'm a teacher at La Jolla ISD here in South Texas. I am a mom of boys. I like to always put that out there because I think that is a huge, huge accomplishment on my part. I have triplet 8-year-olds and a 5-year-old boy as well. So I've got 4 boys, and they are what fuels me and motivates me and always keep me on my toes. I am a 14-year educator. I've been teaching 8th grade history for about 13 years. If you guys want, you're more than welcome to find me at Mrs. Talk Techie. That is my Gmail account. You can also reach out to me. I do have a YouTube channel that I do a lot of ed tech resources, of course, everything we're going to be going over today, like mentioned earlier, is recorded. So this will be available for you guys to be able to watch and rewatch as you would like. So without any further ado, let's get started. And what today's training is Google Classroom, but using it as a platform, a foundation for pedagogy. So how can we use Google Classroom and all of the things that it has, all the different features, to take our pedagogy, to take our best practices and our teaching style and transfer that over and provide that continuity in a virtual setting. So we're going to be discussing all the different strategies that are available along with the apps and web tools. So when we're talking about Google Classroom, how can we utilize Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms to facilitate that pedagogy in a virtual setting, as well as other web tools that I'll be touching base on, like Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, and a couple other ones. So that is the gist for today's training or session. Like I mentioned, I do want to let you guys know that we will be providing what we create here today. We will provide a template. You guys will be filling out a Google form as well as a form from AFT. And so I'll gather your emails from there and send out the template that we're going to be creating today for you guys. So some session norms. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, but of course, if you want to participate, go ahead and unmute yourself. That's not a problem. Keeping your camera on or off, it's totally up to you. Please feel free to use the chat to ask questions and participate. Or like I mentioned, unmute yourself is not a problem. Don't be shy to interject. participate, be ready to share. I am going to try to make this an interactive session. And I would love to hear from you guys. I feel like it's a little odd just listening to myself. So sometimes I start thinking, am I just speaking to myself? So if you guys can chime in from time to time, that would be great. As well as be positive and open to new ideas. Because one of the things, before we actually do get started, one of the things I always stress when I'm providing PD, whether it be tech-based or when I'm doing consulting work, is I always let everybody know that we need to have that growth mindset. One of my favorite quotes is, without struggle, there can be no progress. So if at any point within this session, you don't find yourself feeling maybe a little stressed, maybe even a little overwhelmed or frustrated, possibly annoyed with me, it's okay. If you don't find yourself like that, then I'm not doing my job to challenge you to learn new things. And challenging ourselves allows us to grow professionally. So just keep those things in mind. And of course, remember guys, this will be up on our YouTube channel for AFT, and you will always be able to revert back to it and watch it again. So are there any questions? Ms. Jamie, Ms. Vianney, they will be manning the chat. So if you do have any questions, please let me know. I do not have access to my chat here. Anyone have any questions before we get started? All righty. So what we're going to start off is I want to show you guys this web tool that we have right here, and it's called Mentimeter. And because we are using the Google Classroom platform, we're probably going to be using Google Meets when it comes to doing our live sessions with our students. So Mentimeter is a free web tool that you can utilize to grab a real-time voting or polling of your kiddos. I know that Zoom does offer that, but if you're using Google Classroom as your LMS, then you want to utilize something that's available at the same time. So Mentimeter is a great tool that you guys can utilize, and we're going to use it just like we would in the classroom. So we're going to start off with a little bit of diagnostics to get to know what our participants, our educators, or quote unquote, when we're doing this with our kiddos, our class has to offer as far as their background knowledge. So I'm going to go ahead and take you over. Give me 1 second, to Mentimeter. There we go. So if you guys can do me a huge favor, go ahead on your mobile device, go ahead and go to your web browser and type in www.menti.com. And then it's going to ask you for a code, and the code is right here, 421558. And I'm going to utilize this as a type of diagnostics. I want to know where we stand as our educators. What do you feel most proficient when it comes to these web apps and web tools? If you had to present or teach a colleague on any of these, which one would you feel most proficient in doing that? And so I'm going to give you about a minute to do this. So I'm going to start my minute. And I'm going to head over to just make sure.
Together. 421558.
Can you repeat the code, please?
So the code is 421558. So what I love about Mentimeter, as we're doing this, guys, feel free to continue joining and putting in your information. But what I love about this is that you're able to do this. Let's say you're going on a live meets with your students. You're able to get some diagnostics of where your kids stand, some information. I added these little images and it was so easy. Less than 5 minutes it took me to set this up. Actually, I would say without the images, it would have taken me a minute to get this going. And so you're able to get some feedback as far as where your kids are depending on what you're teaching. So here I see we've got about, based on the amount of participants, we got about 36, and it's changing. 36% are proficient in Google Docs. 42% on slides, we've got 6% on forms, and I'm noticing we have 0% on Edpuzzle, 0% on Flipgrid, and then I just wanted to add a GIF just so that you know that it's available. I love this. 17% are like, well, I don't feel very proficient at this point with any of these. That gives me a good stepping stone to know, okay, this is what I need to focus on and really delve deep into these web tools. So I know that when we go over Edpuzzle, when we go over Flipgrid, that I need to be more proficient in showing you what those things are, what these tools have to offer.
Beatrice, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. I was
Good
just
morning.
wondering, as the teacher, will we have the names of the students so that we will know who gave what kind of feedback to us?
That is a great question. And honestly, I think there is a feature to be able to request that. I'm going in now as in the teacher view.
Yes.
And one of the things is I am showing you, everything I'm going to show you is part of the free versions, right? The free memberships. There are premiums to it, like pro accounts. And if I'm not mistaken, when I went through this, I saw that that it did have that option, but I believe it might be part of the premium, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But that is definitely a great question that I will check back on, and we will have a break, so I'll look into that myself.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Gonzalez, I have a question as well. When you have the choices, are you allowed to ever put in that the people can add more than one choice? So in other words, we were only allowed to pick one of those, but could we pick two?
Yes, definitely. I limited to that, but you have the options. They can have multiple choices, multiple responses. You can have multiple responses. I just limited it to that. And there's other things. I don't want to get too much into this, but there is different types of questioning. So here, I hope that you guys can still continue to see my screen at this point. I see multiple choice. You have a word cloud. And I love the word cloud feature because if you're teaching something and at the end you want to do a quick, fun exit ticket, you want to see, did the kids get the main ideas of what we were teaching? For example, if we're teaching the Industrial Revolution, I want the kids to tell me what are the main words they need to know and associate with the Industrial Revolution. Well, the word cloud, once they submit, they can submit more than once. Once they submit, depending on how many times that word is submitted, it'll grow larger. So that's a good cue for your teacher to know, okay, so they really understood that the Industrial Revolution had to do with innovation, with change, with efficiency of production of goods. You also have open-ended, scales, ranking, Q&A. This is just one of the ones that I chose for this particular question. Are there any more questions? So thank you for that. And so this just lets me know what we feel most proficient on. So you had to kind of force yourself to think, well, out of all the ones, I'm pretty good at, several of these, but out of all of them, I would say I'm the best at this particular web app or tool. So thank you for this, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take it back. to my presentation here. Here we go. And now we're going to go over a couple of Google Classroom quick overviews, tips and tricks. Now, it's not going to be Google Classroom 101. It's going to be Google Classroom quick, how to access it, creating classes, adding students, but most importantly, a couple of tips and tricks that will facilitate utilizing the app. The platform, the learning management system, because that's what Google Classroom is, right? So this is what you're probably using to really manage your online learning. So as we go through each one of these, I will give you a couple of tips and tricks that hopefully will facilitate your use of Google Classroom. The first one is accessing your Google Classroom. So for the most part, we all know that once we sign in to our Google account, we have what we teachers, or we call the waffle, which is this one right here. So if you ever hear us referring to the waffle, this is what we're talking about. I believe Google texts call it the 9 dots. I prefer the waffle. I mean, who doesn't, right? So I use the waffle here. Once you click on this waffle, you're going to get all the Google apps that are available. Now, these Google apps actually can be moved around. So based on the ones you use most often, you can actually move them around and put them here for you, rearrange them. Another way that you can access your Google Classroom is if you have a mobile device, then you can download the app, and it works on both iOS and Android as well. The last way to access it is to type in your Omnibox, which is like your URL, type in classroom.google.com. So as soon as you type in classroom.google.com, it's going to open up your Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just to show you something really quick. Classroom.google.com. And here is mine. And so just like we access all these 3 different ways to access it that teachers have, the students also. So the students can go in through the waffle, they can use an app, or they can type in on their web browser, classroom.google.com. Now, one thing I do recommend, especially once we get started with remote learning, if this is going to be your go-to, here's a quick way to always have it up on your web browser. So as soon as you open up your Chrome browser, it's going to be there waiting for you. So what you do is over the tab, you right click and you're going to pin that tab. So you're going to get that menu bar and you can pin that tab. And so if you notice, now it's shot all the way to the left-hand side, and it's always going to be here for me for quick, easy reference or quick, easy access. So as soon as I open up my Chrome browser, there's my Google Classroom. I don't have to go to my waffle. I don't have to go through an app, right? If I'm using my computer, it's going to be there ready and waiting for me. So that's just a quick tip that you can utilize. Now, the other thing is, once we're creating a class, once you're on your Google Classroom, you have this plus sign. And so you either join the class or create a class, because educators also have the option of joining classes, may it be for their campus. I know that at our campus, we use Google Classroom for teachers to submit different things that are due. So we assign whatever the assignment is, and we submit through Google Classroom. So once you add your class, then of course you'll be prompted to fill out a couple of things here. And here are 2 recommendations, one or the other. When you create your class, depending on, and it all depends on, are you an elementary teacher? Are you a middle school or high school teacher? How many classes do you teach? So for example, if I'm an 8th grade history teacher, then I'm teaching the same subject, the same class, 4 or 5 different times. So a good recommendation would be to set up your class and add all of your resources, all your material, everything, make it perfect. And then all you have to do is right click the 3 dots on it and make a copy of it and change the class period. So that's just a quick FYI of what you could possibly do. Another thing which I prefer to do is I prefer to add all my students to one class. So if I have anywhere from 90 to 100 students, I prefer to add all my students into one class. Like that, I don't have to be sorting through and saying, oh, you know, John is actually in my 4th period, I believe, let me go look for him there. So those are just quick FYIs and tips and tricks that you guys can utilize to help facilitate using Google Classroom. And remember, this is a quick overview. So I do recommend, if for whatever reason you are barely starting with Google Classroom, maybe your district just decided, hey, this is going to be our LMS. There are so many different tutorials out there that walk you step by step on how to set this up. So do always think of YouTube as such, it is an amazing PD platform. It's just a matter of searching and going through those. So customizing your Google Classroom header. Now, I'm sure if you are in the different social media platforms, you've probably seen a lot of this, especially the Bitmoji craze. So if you're into that Bitmoji craze, then you probably already have this set up for yourself. This is something that you don't have to do. You really don't get a lot of instructional benefit out of it, but here's why I recommend it, guys. The reason why I recommend it is because as you create, you learn new tips, new tricks, new skills that will in turn, you know, transfer into you creating your resources for your kids. So this is just a fun way, you know, it doesn't get you all frustrated because you need to do it. So it allows you to learn a lot of really neat, quick tricks to utilizing Google Slides. So if this is something that you are interested in creating, just hop on YouTube and search for Google Classroom headers, and you'll definitely be able to find a lot of these. So moving on, adding students. Adding students can be done several different ways. Number one, on your header, which is the one, once you create your class, on your header, you're gonna have a class code. So this class code can be shared with your students, and when they click the join class, that's the code they're gonna type in. So that's one way of having your kids get added. So that's them adding themselves into your class. The other way is once you have your class set up, you go to people and you can add your students by typing in the email address associated with what they're gonna be using. So in our case, in our district, our students have their ID number at our district. So what we do is we grab a roster of that and we just paste it here, and then we click invite and they all get invited. So what happens next? The kids log into their Google Classroom, so classroom.google.com, and then they're gonna have that class there that's gonna ask them to either join or decline. So very, very simple. So a lot of what you see that is on the teacher end looks almost identical to the student's view as well. When it comes to the stream acts as a kind of like a feed of what's going on in your classroom. The stream can be adjusted. You can change the preferences. So once you go to stream, there's a little there's a little gear that you can easily click on, and then you can adjust the settings there. So it's totally up to you. Sometimes the stream gets really, really busy, so you can adjust that. Students can post and add comments. Students can only comment, or only teachers can post or comment. So those are things that you can change and rearrange to better suit what you feel is best for your classroom. In classwork, this is the hub, the main thing. This is where most kids and yourself are going to be spending your time on. This tab here, classwork, as soon as you click on it, you have what is the class drive folder. So if you're ever wondering, okay, I created this assignment, where is it? Where can I find it? This is where you can find it. It's actually on your drive under classroom, and then this would be the name of your class. So let's pretend this is second period Miss Garcia's class. So once you click on this, that's where it's going to take you. In addition to that, all of the assignments that your kids submit, whatever you assign and they submit back to you, this is where they live. That is where all the work is going to be done. So if you start seeing, if you assign a Google Slides presentation where they have to work on it, you're going to see, depending on how many kids you have, you're going to see that many in this drive folder once they submit it back to you. So I hope that makes sense. The next thing is the Google Meet session. You will not automatically see it there. You'll have to go to settings. So once you're under the classwork, you can go to settings, and then you're going to scroll down and you can toggle that on. And the reason why I recommend, if you are going to be going live with your students and using Google Meets, I do recommend you toggle it on here, because that code, that link, is going to be on your Google Classroom header right here on the left under this squiggly line. So why do we recommend this? Because if you tell your kids, guys, we are meeting every Tuesday at 11 a.m., all they have to do is click on that. They will not be allowed in there until you allow them to go in there. So why is that different from calendar and assigning them on Google Calendar? The difference is, if you set it up on Google Calendar and you send out that meet, they can always join on their own without you being there to supervise. So I highly recommend we go this route. And just remember, they won't be able to log in to actually join the session until you give them permission. The next thing is classwork. So for classwork, this is going to be the main thing we're using for today's training. We're going to be utilizing all these Google Classroom apps and web tools to create that pedagogy, to create that lesson cycle for our kiddos in a virtual setting. Anything that has a link that can be linked can be added to your Google Classroom. So I absolutely love this feature. So how can we take all of those Google apps and web tools and create a type of lesson cycle? Now in our district, we use the actual lesson cycle. You might be using a different model like the 5E model. This can easily be adapted, tailored and customized to fit your instructional needs. So in our case, just to give you a quick FYI, if you don't use the lesson cycle, we start off our lesson with a cue set, meaning maybe an image, something to maybe build background or activate prior knowledge. We then give our direct teach, and then these can be interchanged. We can do an independent practice or then a guided practice. And we also, throughout the lesson, we're checking for understanding, but then we provide some sort of quantitative assessment, right? So actual multiple choice. Throughout the lesson, maybe we want to get some qualitative data, so maybe they want to respond and we listen to some audio. Those are types of responses that we can still gauge and check for understanding. And then of course, your closure, always closing up your lesson. So the idea of today's training is to be able to go through all of that, right? To be able to show you how this can easily be transferred into a virtual setting, right? So that's why we're going to take our lesson cycle. We're going to use our LMS, Google Classroom, as our platform, as our foundation, along with all the Google apps and our web tools to create that pedagogy in a virtual setting. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor really quick to see, are there any questions right now before I show you through a student's lens what this looks like? Are there any questions?
I have a question regarding HyperDoc. How do you embed that in, how does that work? In that
HyperDoc?
Yes, ma'am.
And so is this HyperDoc a PDF, or is it like a Google Slides? Is it a doc?
It's like a Google slide or a PowerPoint.
So you can easily, like if it's a Google Slides, you can set it up where it's view only, so your students will only view it. You're not going to want them to, if you don't want them to work on it and edit it, then you can set it up as a view only. So all the students will be able to view it, click on it because it will be interactive, click on it and see all the links, but you'll only have like one copy of it. That's how you would set up that HyperDoc. And if you want, I probably at the end of the session, when we set up our template, I'll show you how we can add that in Google Classroom so that it works that way.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Just remember to remind me, all right? I really do want to show you that. Any more questions? All righty, so I'm gonna go ahead and once again, go back to my Mentimeter to show you, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm gonna show you, my bad. I'm gonna show you what this looks like if you were to create a virtual lesson with Pedagogy, with your lesson cycle complete. This is just an example, and I do want to give you a quick disclaimer that this is a little bit elaborate, okay? So it does have quite a bit on it, but I wanted to showcase a lot of different features. Maybe something will stick, maybe something you'll find interested, and it's okay to start off simple. Once we do set up our hands-on session, we're gonna keep it real nice and simple, but I wanna show you what are some possibilities out there, all right? So what I'm gonna do right here is I'm going to show you through a student's lens. I'm logged in, this is me as a student, and I know I'm a student because I have this little card, like an ID card here. So I'm gonna log in as a student to my class, and I'm gonna go to classwork. Here, I know I'm a student because it says view your work. This is the student's lens. And I've set it up so where they have their weekly lesson right here. And these are all their assignments, but the students will never have to sort through these assignments. They'll never have to see, oh, I haven't done this one or I have done this one. All they're gonna have to do is click right here for their week 1 lesson. So again, guys, it's okay at any point if you do feel maybe a little overwhelmed, or maybe you're thinking, wow, this is too much, or it's gonna be too much work. Believe me, once you set up the template, which we're gonna do in the second half of today's training, once we set up the template, everything's just gonna fall into place and it's gonna become so easy. And then slowly, you'll be able to start adding additional web tools and add more different activities, maybe a Flipgrid, a video response. You'll slowly be able to start incorporating that as the year progresses. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. This is what the kids would see. And this is, so like right now, they mentioned, they were asking, well, can I include a HyperDoc? Yes, this essentially is a HyperDoc. And this is how the kids would see it. So they're gonna click on this and it's gonna open up a Google Slides presentation on present mode. So on preview mode, they have editing access to it. So let me skip over to it. Here it is. So we're pretending that we are the student here, and this is their lesson for this week. and it has to do with Spanish exploration. And they have tabs here that they can use. And in our district, this is something that we utilize every lesson. We start and we end with the content and language objective. So our content objective is, what are we doing, right, for our lesson? What is our tech? And our language objective is, what are our language domains that we're going to utilize to help accomplish our content? And here I have my, I always say it wrong, I always say TEAC, but I believe it's tech. And here I have it for this lesson. So this is what the student is going to view. Then they're going to click on Monday, and it's hyperlinked. So this is a hyperdoc you were mentioning earlier. So this is day one. This is all they're going to do for Monday. So we're going to start off with a cue set. So what I'm using my cue set as an image. And it says, excuse me, it says, we have been learning about the geography of the world, specifically the continents. You will soon learn about the old world and the new world. Take a look at the picture to the left. You will be analyzing this picture using the taco strategy. So we have something called the taco strategy. At this point, you probably would have already explained to them how to utilize this. And so then here, this is our hyperlink. Click here to access your Google Classroom assignment. And guys, at any point, please feel free to interject if you do have questions. Sorry, I'm gonna go back.
How did you post that hyperlink on that slide?
Yes, sir. So once you create your assignment, you create them all here on your, and this is my student view, so I might not have that option. Yeah, here it is. So once you create your assignment, this is all you have to do is copy link. And when you're working on it in your slides presentation, you hyperlink that. Did that make sense? So all I'm doing is copy link, and then I'm going to go to my slides presentation and hyperlink those words right there, or maybe hyperlink an image. So all your assignments that you create on Google Classroom have hyperlinks. So these are all the assignments for that week. All I have to do is go here, copy it, and then hyperlink it to my actual assignment.
When you hyperlink it, is there an option that says attach hyperlink or something when you go back to where you want to put the hyperlink?
Yes, sir. So let me show you here real quick. I hyperlinked it, so that I copied it. So that means it's copied to my clipboard. All I have to do next is, let's say, for example, I want this word to be hyperlinked. I'm going to select it, highlight it, and then right up here, I have this insert link. And now all I have to do is paste that link, Control V, and apply. And now this, even though it doesn't show there, I change it to blue, the colors to blue, it's actually hyperlinked. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And now it's taking me to that lesson that I was showing you right now.
Ms. B, for the, like when you hyperlink it, will it still appear as an assignment back in their, in the classroom?
Yes, ma'am. So let me take you there real quick. I'm gonna click on it again. And this, I'm at, let me see. I am a student here. This is what the students are gonna see, the actual assignment.
Okay.
So from here, I've added some instructions, and this is what they're gonna work on right here. That is their assignment.
In other words, it's just like to help them get to it, but whenever they go into their class, it's gonna show up as an assignment as well.
Yes, ma'am. So when they go back to their class, I'm going to end up having a million tabs, so I apologize. When they go back to their class, they actually have, for week 1, I made this a topic, they have all their assignments for week 1. So if at any point they feel like, oh, I don't know if I did it all, they can refer back to this and check to see if they've turned it in, all their assignments. Any questions? So our students, this is their view. They clicked on this and it took them to their assignment with this one. They clicked on the Google Doc, that's their assignment, and this is the assignment. Notice on the top right, it says turn in. Once they're done typing this out and finishing this, they're gonna click turn in. So I created this. I can reuse this, guys, every time I make a new presentation. I don't have to use a image cue set all the time, but maybe I can use it every other week or something like that, where all I do is, once I have my template set up, all I do is change the image and maybe change the title here. And it's a new cue set for my kids. Will you feel maybe a little, like it's a little work, like if it's a lot of work at the beginning, perhaps, but once they're set up, you have those templates and it's just about reusing them. So let me show you what this assignment looks like. And remember, this is a very detailed, elaborate week lesson. I would start my kids slowly introducing different web tools, making sure that they're learning and that they're becoming proficient in those before I kind of graduate them to the next one. So in this,
I'm sorry, could you please scroll up so we can get a view of what tacos stands for? Because I'm really liking that. I wanted to snap a picture.
okay. Oh, tacos. Okay, yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Tacos is, so it's just kind of like for visual media, time. When is the time period? How do you know? And you can change these to better suit you, right? The wording, action, what's happening in the image, captions, are there any textual clues to help you understand, objects, list what you see in the image, and then, okay, and what evidence helps you. And then the summary is actually my favorite part. What do you feel is being portrayed in this image, right? Give me your summary. What is the message? So then what we want to do though, is we want to take it up a notch. One thing that we really emphasize, and I have a couple of colleagues here, I saw Ms. Cass for sure. One thing she does great at is getting those kids to practice their language proficiencies. And when we talk about the language proficiencies, we're talking about speaking, writing, reading, listening. How do we get those? And most importantly, which is Ms. Kaz's greatest, I think, attribute, is interacting, is how do you get your kids to interact utilizing those language domains and specifically to your content, not just having conversations, right? So here, the next thing is, how can I get my kids to practice speaking? You know, this is virtual setting. How can I make sure that they're actually doing it? This is a great tool. In the classroom, it's so easy to listen to your kids and be able to gauge and understand where they stand language-wise, right? Their proficiencies. But how can we make those opportunities, how can we create those pockets of opportunities for our kiddos to speak and use academic language? And this is a perfect web tool. It's called Vocaroo. So it says here, click on the link above to record your summary. So I do want to show you really quick how this works. The kids would click on this. It's going to open up another tab. And all they have to do here is click on this red button, super user-friendly. And it's recording my voice right now. So the kids might have had to, you know, write their summary down like they did over here, right? So that they can read it out right here. And then we can play it to see how we sound. This red button, super user-friendly. So if they like it, then they're good. Guys, we can, I'm sorry if I'm saying guys, teachers, educators, we can tailor this and tell them, we want this, students, I want this to be 90 seconds. If they're taking the TELPAS, the Texas English Language Proficiency, something like that, if they're taking that, then we want to provide those opportunities for them to practice so that when they do take that state assessment, they've already had multiple chances throughout the school year to practice their speaking. So then all you would have to do is save and share, and you get different options. And in this case, this is the one we want, where we copy that link. They go back in here, and all they do, once you copy a link, it's automatically saved on your clipboard. So all you got to do now is Control V, spacebar, and there is their link. So what is the teacher going to do when she gets this turned in? All we have to do is click on it, and then we can actually listen to our kiddos and see how this red button, super user friendly. And there you go, guys. I mean, absolutely love this quick, easy feature. And if it seems, I know, so perhaps we might be thinking that's too much coming in and out of the slide of the present. That's okay. We start scaffolding tech integration for our kids. This year, it'll be learning, right? As we go. But maybe next year, they've already learned all these things. And as you keep getting kids throughout the years, they're going to be learning so many more that all of this is going to become so easy for them. Plus, we got to give them credit for, they know this. It is so much easier for them to toggle back and forth and open and close windows, so much easier than us. So just FYI, what they would do is they would turn that in, and now I have copies of both their written work and an audio file to listen to them. How does everybody like that? I think that is a great, great tool. And it doesn't have to be for this. Remember, these are just ideas. I hope that we spark some creativity, some innovation to kind of start tailoring to meet your instructional needs in your classroom. So that was Monday. And it might seem like a lot, guys, but it's only a Monday. I would say they can get that done within the normal 45 to 55 minutes of a class session, right? So now that Monday is done, I've hyperlinked this little home button. You don't have to. The kids can click through it. And I'm going to go back home. And now let's say it's Tuesday. They're going to click on Tuesday. And this is their Tuesday, which is their direct teach. And so for Tuesday, maybe you have a day throughout the week that you will be providing actual live sessions. So you don't necessarily have to have this set up for them. But if you're not, and you want to give them some additional information, one of my all-time favorite free, absolutely free web tool is Edpuzzle. And so Edpuzzle, let me kind of give you a gist if we haven't heard about it, because I do remember, excuse me, based on the KWL, the very first one on the Mentimeter, that nobody chose Edpuzzle. So let me tell you, what is Edpuzzle? Edpuzzle is an online platform that has a Google Classroom integration that allows you to search through videos that are both in their database and outside of their database, or you can create your own video, upload it, and then add questions throughout. So I'm going to show you right now how it works. So you will be watching an Edpuzzle video. Make sure you have your notes ready. They should look like this. So I tell my kids, you're going to get a piece of paper and you're going to add question 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how I want it to look. You will have 4 questions to answer, so jot down as many notes before each question to help you answer them correctly. Listen to the video carefully, make sure you take notes, and look at your notes before you answer those questions. So I've hyperlinked my assignment. I'm going to click on it here. Once the kids click on it, it actually takes them to their Google Classroom assignment, and then they're going to click here. And this is what the kids would see. This is student view. And they have the video that I created. And this was a mock video, guys, but I do want to show you how it works. I recorded myself on my computer, and then I just saved the video and uploaded it to this web tool called Edpuzzle. So I'm going to play it really quick. Rewind. Oh, sorry, I was playing it earlier. Discovering new land, but for acquiring exploration, which is gold. And we mentioned that gold can go by many different names. You might not just see the word gold. You might see enterprise. You might see commercial profit. You might see the word wealth or riches. Just keep those things in mind. With that said, the second reason why the Spanish came to explore the New World was for glory. Glory is like what? They wanted to be famous for not just discovering new land, but for acquiring Alrighty, so I'm providing instruction there. And what you can do is you can actually add questions throughout your video. So I'm gonna forward this here and I'm gonna play it just so that you can see what we're doing here.
Is this a free, I'm sorry, ma'am, is Edpuzzle free or is it like something your district has to pay for?
No, sir, it is free. Here's the thing, it is totally free. The only thing is you get a limited amount, and I think I can show it here. You get a limited amount. I have 23 videos I can have stored at one time. But for every teacher I refer and they become a member and it's free, I get more storage. I get 3 more videos. So it is absolutely free. I've never had to create, to get more storage. Do they have those premium memberships? Yes. Do they even have also a school one? They do. So that would give you like unlimited videos, but it is free. I've never had to do more videos than what I already had there. And of course, like I mentioned, you refer someone and you get more storage.
I would love to use this because I teach Avid. I think this would be really good in my Avid class.
It is amazing, sir. And what I love about it is I didn't add too many questions. I actually only added 1. But what I love about it is you can prevent skipping. So the kids have to watch it in its entirety. And then you add questions. So it's hard to tell, but this little drop right here represents a question that I added. And they can't move forward until they answer that question. And they can rewind if they'd like go back. That sounds really old school, right? Rewind. But they can go back if they'd like to listen to it again. But like I mentioned, it is free. I love it. A lot of our colleagues at our school district use it. Look into it. I recommend go online, go to YouTube. There are so many getting started YouTube tutorials out there. So,
Ms. B, it looks
yes, ma'am.
like you took a release star question from Lead Forward with that question 31. Did you copy and paste that and then you added your own video through Edpuzzle? Is that what you did here?
So what I did here is I do use Lead Forward. So this is a screenshot from the Lead Forward question. But what I utilize, and this is really up to you, and this is, I think, when teachers start to feel a little frustrated because they want, like, what system did you use? I use my own video editing, which is called Camtasia. But for free for teachers, I recommend Screencastify, which is actually a Chrome extension, Screencastify, and or Screencast-O-Matic. I recommend those 2, and you can actually add your picture, your image, and yourself. So you can do like picture in picture.
Oh. Could you put those in the comments?
Yes.
The name of the Screencastify and Cast-O-Matic?
I have a question for you. When they answer the question, where do they do that?
Where do they do that? I'm going to show you right now. It's going to populate that right now.
Ms. Gonzalez, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How long can the video be? Because I noticed you have 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Is there a limit to the particular video?
There is not a limit that I have seen. I mean, I've seen videos that are 30 minutes long, 40 minutes long. So I have not seen a limit. I try to, this is just for demo purposes. But again, you know, we try to keep them under 10 minutes just because we can get, you know, our kiddos, their attention span.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
But yes, I have not seen a limit to it. Any more questions? I'm going to go ahead. Oh, there's also, thank you for that. There's also Loom. There's WeVideo as well. Let me type that in. I won't be able to type the actual links, but let me play this really quick. Communities. Now here's the cool thing, guys. What can you do? You can rewind and listen to my instruction again, or listen to the question again. So take your time. Here's the question. So notice it automatically, because I already added the question right there. and it automatically puts it here, which motive best completes the diagram. And what I love about it is the question is here. So if it has a graph or something, a graphic organizer, they can still see it and answer the question correctly here. So, oh gosh, I didn't see what the answer was. I think it's empires, to expand empires. And then they're gonna click on submit. And then it gives them their score, and then they continue. So then I simply continue going on with instruction and adding more questions as I continue with my lesson. And so that's what the kiddos would see. What I would tell them, if you don't feel comfortable putting yourself in the video, then you can find videos, and I will show you that. Let me do that right now. This is the actual main page of Edpuzzle. There are different channels that they have, Edpuzzle, YouTube, Khan Academy. All of these are available. I don't want to spend a lot of time because I will talk about this in the second half of the presentation. So that's just that would be their Tuesday. Notice that I've already provided direct instruction, plus I've given them some checking for understanding, and it is quantitative data. I'm able to see whether they got questions from the STAR release test right or wrong. I'm able to gauge. So I was able to gauge through qualitative, like just listening to them and reading their text Monday, now actual STAR questions. Now let's go on to what their next day would look like. This is Wednesday. And for me, Wednesdays are guided practice. That's what I like to do. You could do your Wednesdays as independent practice, or you could do however you want to organize your week. It really is up to you. Maybe you're elementary, so you want to do Monday, I'm not sure, Monday reading or letters, Tuesday math, numbers, Wednesday science, Thursday social studies. It really is up to you. You can tailor it to fit your instructional needs. So here I have guided practice, and I added some more text here from my video. I told them, guys, at this point, you should have already watched the Edpuzzle. Now, if you want to, you can re-watch it here, or you can re-watch it here. And now this is your assignment for this week. So they would click on this, and it would take them to this week's assignment. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry. It's because I'm on like back and forth, teacher view and student view. So this is my Wednesday assignment. Notice on the top right corner, oh, I'm under teacher. So here on where it says present, they would have a turn in button as well. What I chose to do here is give them an actual Google Slides presentation, but I used it so that it's interactive. Notice the actual slide is here in the middle, but you can utilize all of the sides here as well for your instruction. All of these can be utilized as well. So what I did is I'm gonna have them watch, this video is maybe like 2 minutes long. I want them to watch this video, and I embedded it here. So if I click on it, it will present. It doesn't want to at the moment. I don't know if I'm lagging. And then here, list the 3 explorers that are mentioned within this video. Number 3, write a quick summary about why the Spanish explored the New World. Why is gold a reason? Why is God a reason? And why is glory? Once they do that, I want them, based on, you've already done your back end work, starting with the end in mind. I've utilized Lead Forward to guide me to be that spearhead of, okay, what do the kids need to know to be successful? And based on the STAR questions that have been asked in the past, they need to understand that gold, God, and glory all have synonyms. So they might have asked, like you saw in that question, glory was the answer, but they didn't use glory. They used expand empires. So here we would have expand empires. So what I would want my kids to do is grab these and slide them over to where they believe they would go. So gold is enterprise, glory is expand empire. So just synonyms to help them. This is just an activity that they could accomplish on guided practice. So they could watch my video again and then complete this and turn it in. This would be their guided practice. Yes, Mireya, so all this on the outside of the slide, all this can be utilized for your kids. So it's still, you know, workable, usable space for you. The only thing I haven't figured out, and believe me, I've tried, is how to get rid of this navigation right here. So I can't get rid of that. But all this on the, thank you, Ms. Kaz, all this on the margins can be used, especially if you wanna, what you can do is you can change the page size or the slide size. You can even make this smaller and have more space on the sides of it. Any questions? No?
No, I have
All right.
one question. If this is this a template, and is it there certain areas of it locked so that the kids can't, like, you know, screw up the you know, the other parts, you know, other aspects of it?
So great question. This, I haven't made it that way because this was for demo purposes, but totally recommend making this, at least the slide part, making it an image so that they're not messing with this, because then it might get a little frustrating for them. That's one thing that we learned over our first remote learning. So that can be, this, however, on the margins cannot be locked, especially if you want to make it interactive where they drag and drop. But this on the actual slide can be made into a image and then uploaded as a background. So hopefully that.
May I speak?
Yeah, they got the
Yes.
zero.
I was just gonna say that sounded more complicated than it actually is. Would you just make the slide and then you screenshot it, right? And then use that screenshot crop down to be the background, and so you have everything you already had on it, but now it's one image. So it's super easy to do too. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Kaz. Yes, definitely. So what you would do, just, you know, I'll show you really quick, is you can take a screenshot or you can download this. You right click, change background, choose your image, and so then you would have it like on your desktop or your downloads, and when you upload it, it'll be the background image here. And so they wouldn't be messing with any of these that I have here. But thank you so much for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and move forward to, and I already have a lot of tabs open, I'm gonna move forward to Thursday. Thursday is my independent practice, and this is just absolutely just an example. But what I would have them do here is I would have them, if we're talking about Spanish exploration, then I'd have them just like we would do in the classroom. So think about, what are your teaching styles? Do not feel you have to lose your teaching style because you're doing remote learning. All right, that is one of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to virtual teaching, right? Distance learning. You do not have to lose your teaching style. One thing I love to do is do hands-on activities. And so I said, you know what I would do normally in the classroom is I would ask the kids to create an advertisement poster to travel to the new world. That's what I would have them create. So why not find something that can facilitate that virtually? And so I would tell them, go to Poster My Wall, and I'm going to take you there just so that you see what it is. Go to Poster My Wall and create an advertisement poster. And what Poster My Wall is, it's really advertisement tools that you can get these templates and recreate for you, for whatever you want to use. So here, what I would do is I would change this, you know, I gave them the assignment, and I'd say, show me an advertisement from the Spanish to go and explore this new world, include the reasons. So gold, glory, God, come to the new world, discover wealth, power, and spread Christianity. Those are my 3 Gs. Those are my reasons for Spanish exploration. I've included the date. It's only 3,000 miles away. You know, the ships are ready. Pack your bags. Oops, bag your packs, my bad. Pack your bags and set sail. So this is an example of what we can have the kiddos do. And guess what they can do once they're done here? This is free, by the way. So all of this is absolutely free. Remember that everything I'm showing you, the features that I'm showing you are the free versions. So poster my wall, all they have to do here is click on the share. This is on the edit mode, and here's my link. And that's what I'm asking from them to put in Google Classroom, the link. They can also, if they're working off their phone, they can also take a screenshot of it. Let me close this up. They can take a screenshot of it and upload it as an image, whatever is easier for your kids. At the end of the day, as long as they can submit their work, that's what we want. So this is one thing I would ask from them for independent practice. This will give me a good gauge of whether or not my kids are understanding the lesson for that week, like the big idea. Are they understanding that they came for 3 reasons: gold, glory, and God? And then practicing our language domains, we're going to utilize Flipgrid. Flipgrid is an amazing web tool that really provides a voice to our kiddos. And so here under Flipgrid, I would have the kids tell me about their advertisement, right? Explain their advertisement to me. So here they would click on it, and I've already created this. Again, Flipgrid is completely free. I've already set up the lesson, and here the kids would play it. Hey guys, Mrs. Talk Techie here, and you're here because you're already. So what I would do is take this opportunity to give more instruction to my kids so that I can, so based on what I'm seeing throughout the week, oh gosh, my kids are not understanding that they're not understanding that, you know, glory is to expand empires or to acquire more land. Let me provide that feedback and those correctives right here, giving those opportunities without them feeling like I'm lecturing all over again. And so that's what we would do here. And then I would give them the, that's funny, sorry. I would give them the instructions there. And what would the kids do is they would click this button and start recording themselves and tell me about their advertisement. They can easily, if I click on record a response, well, my face is probably gonna come up. So they can easily right here, they can add images. So if they saved their poster that they created, they can actually add it right here next to me. They can add text, and then they can start recording and submit it to me. So I'll have it here under Flipgrid. I will have all the submissions right here showing up. They will then have a link that they can go and submit to their assignment to their assignment right here. So those are just a few ways. And then here they can actually go to Google Classroom and see their full assignment. So just think about that, guys. Think about, there is no reason that you will feel limited to the type of teacher that you are. Depending on your teaching style, if you are a hands-on teacher, you can easily recreate that in a virtual setting. It's just about how innovative can we get? What can we utilize? Poster My Wall was not originally an education web tool. It is for advertisement, but we can use it for our benefit to enhance our teaching and learning. So any questions so far? I'm gonna go ahead, at what time is it? Gosh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead, and we're nearing the end of this because we do have our second half. Remember that this one is an elaborate presentation, but we will be creating a more simple, streamlined one, and then you can kind of jazz it up as much as you want. So Friday, your kiddos, what I like to do is show them, hey guys, these are all our activities. Can you hyperlink these like I showed you earlier? Definitely. All of these can be hyperlinked. So let's say the kids are like, gosh, I don't know if I submitted my Monday activity, they can click here and they can see it'll take them to their Google Classroom and they can see whether it's been submitted or not. So I love being able to provide that for our kiddos. Now it's time to do a mastery test. So here is their Google form. But if we tell the kids, guys, if you don't feel like you're ready just yet, go and listen to my Edpuzzle, or maybe even watch the Flipgrid again. All of that has important information. If not, here are some additional links. I would hyperlink these depending on the resources that your district has to offer. I would hyperlink these so that it takes them directly to Spanish exploration. So now that they're ready, they're going to click here. And this is their Friday Spanish, not Spanish test, but Spanish exploration test. And when they're ready, they're going to take their test. I added a little link that is me speaking to them and giving them a little bit of a, guys, remember, this is important, know this, you know, just like you would in the classroom. What is their pep talk? We want to make it so that our kids feel like they're literally back in our classroom. So them being able to listen to me, I could even add a little video here as well, wishing them good luck. And here are their questions. I use the same one, but just letting you know, you can easily make this test into a kind of like a Scantron-ish type test. So I took a screenshot or using the snippet tool, and I added it there, and then they would submit it, and that would be their assessment. And so the end of the week would look something like this. I would probably have, which I failed to do so, is ended with our content and language objective, asking them, guys, were we able to identify the reasons for Spanish exploration? And did you swirl? And we use, and I'll type it in here. We use swirl, always focusing on our EL kids, and it helps all our kids, not just our EL, but in the district we work in the campus we work in, 90% of our student population are English learners. So swirl represents, did you speak throughout this week's lesson? Did you write throughout this week's lesson? And all in content related, context. So I'm talking about, are you using our academic vocabulary? Are you writing academically? Are you reading academically? Were you listening to us academically? And of course, we will be able to soon provide ways to interact with each other. There is Jamboard, Google Meets. If you have the kids, interact with each other, you can easily do that. I know that Google Meets already set up a breakout room session. I know that there are some kinks and things like that that are still being, some wrinkles that are still trying to be ironed out, but just know that there are opportunities that we can offer to build, to have them practice all their language domains. So with that, now I will take you.
Real quick, Mr. Thomas, I had a quick question.
I'm sorry?
Was usually democratic with a group of
in the chat, there was a good question.
I can't hear. Which one is the question?
Mr. Thomas Chavera was asking, one moment, let me scroll up. He asked, while they're taking that assessment, are they able in another tab to open up the Monday through Thursday lessons? Would that be cheating? Is that a good thing? We can refer back. Anyway, that was a great question.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that question. That is an amazing question. Now, here's the thing with that. I don't mind. That is a personal teacher preference of mine. I don't mind. We want our kids to be successful, yes. Would we consider that cheating? Perhaps, depending on how you see things. I consider it them still learning, because they are going to have to listen to it again or read the text or the lesson again. So unfortunately, will our data be skewed at one way or another? Perhaps, yes. But that is why we provide those opportunities. There's listening opportunities. If a child cannot communicate to me what the information is that we've learned, the content, then I know for sure that they didn't grasp that, right? So I totally understand your question. It's just a matter of where you stand on that. Myself, my personal preference, I'm okay. You know, there's only certain variables that we can control in a virtual setting. But if the child is taking the time to at least try to quote unquote cheat, then at least one, I know that I've built enough rapport with my children, with my students, that they care enough to want to do better, or they care enough for themselves to want to be successful. So it really is up to you guys how you feel about that. But in anything, those are some circumstances and some variables that are truly out of our control. So I hope that that kind of explains things just on my perspective. So, any questions? Thank you, all of everyone who's for the praise. I do appreciate it. That is what I feed off of. I'm going to go ahead and now go back to my Mentimeter, and I'm going to close all my million tabs. And I do want to present this one right here.
Oh, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, baby. Thank you.
And so let's go back to Mentimeter, and it says, what would you like to learn more about based on what was presented? Or here's another question. What do you have some questions on, you know, or what piqued your interest? I should just limit it to one question, I know, but just talk to me, guys, talk to me. And what I'm gonna do also here at this time, guys, and I apologize for using the word guys, force of habit. What I'm gonna do is I am going to set up for a quick 5-minute break. So once you do respond, I'll have my little timer here set up for a quick 5-minute break so that we can actually get started on creating our own template. So I'm gonna go ahead and start.
Miss B, the timer is covering up the code.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And there we go. 42, 15, 58. And I put it in the chat, but it's just my timer's an extension. So that's where it's showing up.
Hi, I've lost the place to which to put my comments on which to put my comments on. Where's the bubble for sharing the messages?
The chat?
On menti.com.
Yeah, where's the chat? I saw it earlier. I don't see it now.
You should see the chat box at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Maybe your Zoom tools disappeared? Like put your mouse down there and then maybe go put your mouse up at the top of your screen and then maybe they will pop out.
Okay, I'll try. Oh, yes. I enlarged the screen. That's the thing. Okay.
Okay, glad you.
Thank you.
Beatrice, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Awesome, awesome. Awesome. So right now we still have about 2 minutes. So feel free to whatever you'd like to do at this moment, take a break. But please do add to this, to Mentimeter. That would be great.
Ms. B, can this Menti little presentation be used like for exit ticket as well?
Definitely. Is this Miss Almalicia?
Yes, I miss you.
I miss you too. Oh my God, I recognize your voice. It's been so long. Yes, definitely. As a exit ticket, it can be used as your cue set. It's a good way to gauge whether or not, one thing I highly recommend, and one of my best practices is always at the end of every lesson is checking for understanding. And you can use this here because you want to be able to provide immediate feedback, immediate correctives. So here, let's say I ask something like, okay, guys, I want you guys to tell me the most important thing about what made the Industrial Revolution so successful or something. I don't know. And so I'm able to gauge. And if the kids are giving me wrong answers, then that's a huge indication on me, the teacher, that, hey, this lesson didn't go according, and I still have to teach this 3-4 more times. I don't want to be teaching it wrong. So Mentimeter is one tool, many that are out there, that can really facilitate using these as quick exit tickets, because the exit tickets are never, well, I think, are not for students, it's for teachers. It is for teachers to gauge whether or not they had a successful lesson, you know, and that is one of the things that I think we missed out on.
Now, B, is there anything, because I know that right here you can type, but you know that I worry a lot about my special ed kids and the way they spell. They get very paranoid as to, is this spelled right? Is this spelled wrong? Does this give them like a little spell wiggly line at the bottom where they can change the spelling, or no?
Let me see. I don't see that. Let me see. How about can you try to type something and type it wrong? Like spell it wrong?
I just tried it. It totally does give you the little squiggly line.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay. Okay.
Awesome. And you know what, Miss Gonzalez Almalicia,
Yeah.
You just gave me a great idea. We could do something, set it up to where the kids add their Vocaroo on here, you know, like an audio file also.
Uh-huh.
So, but of course you have Flipgrid for that as well. So, so many different, the thing is, it becomes to where it's like, well, what do I use? There's so much to use. And I know that I'm introducing a lot at this moment, and but I did want to showcase, hey, these are all things that are available, but it doesn't mean you have to use them all. Let's scaffold, just like we scaffold for our kiddos, let's scaffold our tech integration for both our sake and our kids as well. So, all righty, guys.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you said, how do I input my feedback or what I like to learn? Because I'm trying to find just a way to how to put in the information, but I can't find the way to input.
So just like everyone's doing right now, you should, are you using it off a mobile device?
No, I've got my computer laptop.
Okay, so let me try it out. I'm going to go to www.menti.com. And then can somebody shout out the code?
421558.
All right. So here, do you see something like this? This is where.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. All right. Thanks. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Great question. So where am I? Let me find myself. Here we go. So I'm going to just kind of just browse through these here, but some of the things I see just by looking real quick, a lot of Edpuzzle, creating graphic organizers. I absolutely love creating those graphic organizers, because if anyone knows me, and there's a couple people here that know me, I thrive on making foldables. That is, I know that is a little old school, but I absolutely love creating foldables. So, gosh, where did my little chat box go? Let me try to find it really quick. Here we go. There we go. So definitely that can be totally transferred into your virtual setting, pedagogy in a virtual setting. It's just a matter of getting started. And I think a lot of teachers are finding those roadblocks, but hopefully what we're doing is providing those opportunities to see, hey, this is how you can easily use this. And then that sparks that creativity and hopefully gets our wheels turning. We'd like to learn more about Edpuzzle and creating those. And Vocaroo is so easy, like so super easy, guys, to use. And you can, just like you would, like I did right now, let's say we're struggling with menti.com. Let's get on a Google Meets with your students and say, we're going to learn about Vocaroo and how to utilize it. Let me show you. And you show them, right? So as you're integrating new web tools, you walk them through it. A lot of times, teachers, the kids know how to use it, but if you see that a lot of the feedback you're getting is they don't know how to use it, then let's jump on and let's do a quick live session on how to use this web tool. So Edpuzzle, I would love to get more thoughts on how to create the interactive notebook. Okay, so interactive notebooks, those are your Google Slides that are made to look like, let me see, I think I have something going here. This is something I'm working on right now. So these are your interactive notebooks. So they're made to look, it's a Google Slides presentation, but it's made to look like a notebook. So when you click on tabs, you get certain your information. So those are interactive notebooks. And definitely that is something that we can, I think that Miss Jamie will get feedback, and if there is a need, if you guys want to, we can provide more of these trainings, more specific and more tailored to your wants and needs. So yes, ma'am.
Beatriz, can I say something? Yes, I was going to tell you, this is, a lot of information because it's a kind of an overview, but hopefully you can do like a more of a basic one, like interactive, like how to create one slide and go from there, right? And I think that maybe you can do that for us in another workshop. That would be great. So the teachers don't feel like, oh, I don't know about this, but we'll have more of this. And I think we're very fortunate to have Beatriz with us.
Thank you so much for that. And definitely it'll be like more tailored towards, we're going to work on just hyperlinking. So I see here how to create the layouts and then embed the hyperlinks in order to have a seamless transition. So that is totally something that I have, let's see the time, I have about 32 minutes. So hopefully we'll be able to go through all that. Force a copy versus make a copy for students. Totally can show you that. If you're using the Google Classroom platform, there is a way where every child, once you add it in there, like for example, the Google Slides graphic organizer, every child got a copy of that. So I'll definitely show you how to do that in a bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep going. I love all this, and I can keep this information, this data right here, and always go back to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with our next one. I do wanna show you really quick, the one I was introducing is quite elaborate with the linking and with all that. But I do wanna show you that these 3 web tools, and I'll try to type them out here really quick, www.slidesgo.com. That is one. I don't know why it doesn't come out as a link.
I'm sorry, but I don't see what you're typing.
Oh my gosh, I've been typing it all to Mr. Lumbre. Hello, Mr. Lumbreras. I've been typing everything to you. Okay, slides go. Thank you, Miss Claudia. Slides go. Slides Carnival. Thank you for that. If you wouldn't have told me, I would have been, okay, someone's helping me out. I appreciate it. Slides go, Slides Carnival, and Slides Mania. This template, what you see right here, so cute, so interactive, so aesthetically pleasing, right? All of these can be utilized through these web tools right here. And so I do want to just jump on here really quick. Gosh, I'm so bad. I want to show you everything, guys. Slides Mania, her name is Paula. I think she's from somewhere overseas, but she has so many cool, simple things. If you were talking about those, somebody mentioned earlier in the Mentimeter, the notebook, there's no need to recreate the wheel. She has them here for you, ready to go. That's the one I used. I thought, I'm pressed for time. I have this curriculum I have to create. Here it is. And all you do is click on it, and then it gives you the options of downloading it. My internet is lagging a little. Downloading it as a PowerPoint or opening it up in your Google Slides platform. So those are some. Now here are the I'm trying to show you. Here are the presentations, the actual slide decks that are available for you. So many different ones. If you want one that's, hey, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, she has some already available for you as well. So it's just a matter of going through that. Here's weekly planners. This is only one tool.
Ms. B, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
so if you start to download these, I know that I work for the district, and I mean, am I gonna be able to download them on the computer that I'm using from work, or do I need the tech to allow me to download each one?
I can
No,
probably
you
answer
totally.
this one.
Yes, ma'am.
Save it to your Google Drive, and then you can use it. That's what she means by download. So you don't need any kind of tech person. You just go in, it copies it to your Google Drive, and then you can use it.
Okay, wonderful. Because by the time I get a work order for the tech to come, it takes like a lot of time.
No, thank you for that. And thank you, Miss Claudia, for that as well. All you have to do is once you find the one you want, you click on that Google Slides, and it'll automatically like add it. You just have to, it'll give you like, hey, do you want to use this template? You click yes, or you click on it, and it'll populate under your Google account. And now it's your slides presentation. So these are all options. I love using all of these. So I just wanted to show you guys that that's available for you. We won't be using these. We're gonna be creating a simple from scratch template. And that's the template that you will be receiving at the end of this lesson. And the reason why we're doing that is because as we create on Google Slides, we learn so many new features, tools, and skills that later will help us create those resources, like you saw the graphic organizer and things like that. You've probably seen a lot of buzz with the Bitmoji classrooms. And right now, I'm not gonna lie, there is a huge debate on Twitter on whether or not they're useful or not. I do believe, that's my personal preference and belief, but you learn so much from creating those virtual classrooms, so many new skills that you can then create resources for your kids to use. So if I use a flipbook foldable in the classroom, my mind was, okay, how can I recreate that? Initially, it was a huge roadblock, and I thought I won't be able to do that. And then I figured out, oh, we can use Google Slides and we can hyperlink them and so on and so forth. So I am going to, it is 11:34, and I'm going to show you from scratch how we can recreate something like this that we just went over. So I'm going to file. Oh, let me show you something. God, I want to show you everything. So one thing I want to show you or let you know is this is my drive. Wherever you start a presentation from, that's where that presentation is going to live. So for example, this is the folder I have. If I want to create a presentation from here, I'm going to right click and sorry, one of my things is in the way here. I'm gonna right click, more Google Slides presentation. That means this slides presentation lives here. It's gonna show up in a little bit. It's gonna populate here. This is where it lives. So that's just another tip or trick that you can use. One of my biggest pet peeves is having to drag it over and move it to where I want it to be saved. So here I have my lesson, and I'm going to close this up. Alrighty, guys. So let's start with step number 1. Is I want to show you how we can change the background color here. So I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to choose my color, and I like gradient. I'm a little girly like that. So gradient, and I'm going to go to custom. I'm going to be showing you a lot, guys, and right now I can't see the chat, so I'll try to open it up in a bit. And I'm going to choose pink because I'm girly. I'm going to click on this other square, and I'm going to choose yellow. Okay, done. There we go. So this is my initial first slide. This is my slide that's going to show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for my kids to get started. All right. So the first thing is I like to add a border. So I'm going to go to shape, and I'm going to get a square, and I'm going to add a border right here. And then I'm going to change this. If I go to the fill bucket, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to try to show my chat just in case. All right. So here, my paint fill bucket. And of course, guys, please interject. I don't mind. It's not rude. I'd rather know that, answer your questions if you do have some. So I'm going to click on the white because I want it white. I'm going to go to my internet. There we go. Then I'm going to go to my border color, and I want black, and I'm going to change the weight, and I'm going to go with 8. So I have this. Now I'm going to go back to shape, and I apologize if I am going kind of fast. I do want to try to finish and show you a couple of things. Same thing. This time my fill color is black, and my border color is transparent. And now I can double click on this shape. I can double click on this shape so that I get text. I'm going to change my text, let's say to white, and I'm going to change my font. If you want more fonts, you're always welcome to click here on more fonts and scroll through these and find fonts that you like and add them to your font library, your Google. There's 993 fonts, so quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And week 1, I'm going to use the same that I had because I can't think right now what week we're in. And I'm going to change the font. And here we go. So that's my initial one. And right here, align it to the center. So here we go. So now I have that set up. What I'm going to do next is if I go here, select on the navigation here on the left-hand side, if I right click, I can duplicate this slide. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. But this time, I'm going to change the background color by right-clicking and change background. And I'm going to pick a solid color. I'm going to pick orange. So here we go. Now, there's a reason for this madness. You'll see in a bit. But this one is going to be titled Monday, whatever you want to title it. If you use the 5E model, I believe it's Engage. I'm not sure, or Explore, Engage maybe. You can title it that. It's totally up to you. Also, what I'm going to be adding here is I'm going to go to Insert, Image, Search the Web, and I'm going to search for a house icon. And so now I have all these little icons here, and I'm going to grab this one and I can drag it over. And it has the icon, except it came out with a border. So I don't want the border. So I'm going to go here, transparent. There we go. And let me show you how we can hyperlink this one to slide 1. I selected it. You always want to make sure. Here's a quick tip that will help you out tremendously if you're not very proficient in Google Slides. You want to make sure that you've selected what you want to hyperlink or what you want to work on so that you can get these formatting options up here. If not, they'll change. For example, if I have this selected or my slide selected, these formatting options change. So I don't see the linking option, see? So I want to select this image and now I have that linking option. So I'm going to insert link and I want to link it. I want to link this presentation to, gosh, this thing is not working with me. There we go. So Command K, slides in the presentation. I want to link it to slide 1 and apply. Never forget to click apply because then it won't literally apply it. So now that one is linked to slide 1. So I'm going to present, show you how easy that is. Let me go. So we're 1, 2, click on my home button and I'm back to slide 1. So that's how easy that is. Now here is another tip that you can use. I'm going to search for Google Classroom. One thing that you can do, is you can train your kiddos to know that every time they see the Google Classroom logo icon, that's where they're going to find their assignment. That's where they'll find their assignment. So I was working on, there we go. So that's something you can do. So remember how I showed you can copy the link from Google Classroom? This is where you can link it. So they'll know, oh, here's my assignment on this one. Or you can type it in there like I did on the other ones. It's totally up to you. So now this slide is ready to go with my home button and with my Google Slides icon. All I'm going to do next is duplicate. And then I'm going to duplicate again and duplicate again. So that you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and duplicate once more. And now this is going to change to Tuesday, and we can call it independent practice. This is going to change to Wednesday. I'm sorry, not independent practice. Initial teach. This is going to be Wednesday, and this is guided practice. Thursday, and this is independent practice. And finally, Friday is your assessment. And this, I would put mastery test or mastery. So here's one thing I like to do. You don't have to do this, but I like to change the background color. So I'm going to right click, change background. And it's just something I like to do. It gives me easier reference to know that I'm working on a different slide. So here we go. All I'm doing is right clicking and I'm making sure that I'm clicking on the slide. So right click, change background. Oh gosh, I already used that color. Yellow. And then the last one. And so you're probably wondering why, and I'll let you know in a bit why I like to do that. So done. So now I have my template. My template is set. This is my main home page. Now I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all these are linked. I didn't have to redo it. So if I go here, all these are linked and I click over, I can click on the house and it takes me back home. All right. So now that I'm here, what I want to do is I want to add a button. So I'm going to go to shapes and I like using this rounded rectangle. And I'm going to do something like this. And I'm going to change the color to my Monday. So I'm going to go to my paint fill and I'm going to go there. And I don't want a border. So here's one thing I like to do. You don't have to do it, is add a little bit of dimension. So if I click on my shape, I'm going to go to the 3 little dots here, format options, and then I'm going to add a drop shadow. And I like to have a really strong drop shadow, so I change the transparency and the distance, and that's good. So that's how I like to do mine. I'm going to double click inside the shape so that I can have text. You do not have to add another text box. So I'm going to change the font, bold, and it's going to say Monday. And here we go. Center it. There we go. So now I have Monday. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to copy this, Control C. And again, I lost my little chat, so I'll check it out right now. Let's see. Chat. There we go. Control C, Control V. Sorry. Control C, Control V gives me my copy and paste. So Control V again. And then Control V again. And I believe once more. So there we go. Here, this is going to say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. One way you can select all this is if you double click, that'll select the word. So the entire word, though, it'll highlight and Friday. So the reason why I like to use colors is because that's good, quick reference. So my Tuesday is purple. So I'm going to change the color. Here we go. My Wednesday is that light blue. My Thursday is yellow. And my Friday is pink. So what we're going to do next is hyperlink these. So remember that we have to make sure that we select our item, our element, whatever it is we want to hyperlink, and then we'll have that option there. You can always click on, I believe mine is Command K, but I believe it's Control K on Windows, and you'll automatically get that linked. So then I want to link that to slide 2 and make sure that I apply it. So again, here's my link, slide 3 this time, and apply, and then link it, and slide 4. I don't know why mine does that, so slide 4 and apply. And slide 5. Please interject, guys, if you have questions. I know that I'm going very, very fast, but I do want to show you the finished product. So the other thing I would add here is maybe what is your tech or text for the week. So I would make this and add a border line. And whatever your non-negotiables for class and instruction, things you have to have up, things you have to do, I would recommend adding them here because we do want to set it up. Our kids in our district, they have this, they even recite this as we start our lessons. We don't want to take that away. It's not about, changing our instruction completely. So this is our language objective, and this is our content objective. All right, so got that. My OCD, all this is driving me crazy, the fact that they're not aligned, guys, sorry. So basically it's set up, here we go, let's present, and always, always practice so that you make sure that your links are working appropriately. We've got our week here, here's my Monday, perfect. I'm gonna go back home. Tuesday, how do I know that they're linked right? The colors help me out tremendously. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Awesome.
Quick questions,
So,
Beatriz.
yes, ma'am.
We were asked when we share the slide to the students, do we set it to preview? How does this get shared out? I guess is the question.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that question. So what we're going to do, and you know what I'll go ahead and do is jump to that right now. let's pretend it's already set to go. Let's see here. I'm going to go to my classroom so I can show you. Classroom. And so here's my classroom. Let's say everything, you've done all the work, and now we're going to classwork, and I'm going to create my new lesson. So what I'm going to do is click on create, add an assignment, and here you add all your information, and now you're going to add from your Google Drive, and it should populate since it's the one I did a practice one, guys. So here it is. I'm going to double click on it. Here's the thing. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you click the right one right here. Students can view file. If you put it as view file, that means it's going to show up on the student's end as present view only, like preview. If you want the students to all work together in completing this, then students can edit files. So it's one copy, all students have access to it. If you want, like we mentioned earlier, if you want students to, if this is a graphic organizer and you want each student to complete it and submit it, you would click on this one, make a copy for each student. So I would click here, and then of course, I would do my due date, my topic, I would put it under view your lessons here. So let's say this is already lesson 2, that's where I would put it. So I'm gonna click on assign. And now here is my next one. So down here, all this is gonna say week 1, week 2, week 3, and you organize this, you organize it how you organize your curriculum. It's up to you. If you're in elementary, you can possibly have classrooms for math and science and social studies, or all in one. So here you would have your different topics. So this is math class, this is science class. It's totally up to you. So let me go really quick. I want to show you how the kids would see this. I just need to switch over. And now I'm on the student view. I'm going to go to classwork, and there it is. So I'm going to click on it and click on it. And yes, it shows this, but it's view only. I hope that makes sense. It is view only. So they can't edit it. They can't do anything to it. If you want it to only be preview, then we have to change a couple of the links around and do some editing to that. But this is just a simple way. They get to see everything right here. Can they present? Yes, they can. So I hope that makes sense. I have a million tabs open. Alrighty, guys. So that's how you would add it to your Google Classroom. What time is it? It's 11:53. So what I'm going to do next is we won't be able to go through each individual one, but what I do want to show you is I will give you a demo one that I worked that is complete, that has more information. But I do want to show you one last thing. So if I go to my presentation, one of my other favorite, aside from Edpuzzle and Flipgrid, my other favorite go-to tool, and it's been around for a long time, is Padlet. So I'm going to ask a favor from you guys, and I'm going to ask you to either scan this or type this out, and it's going to take you to what a Padlet is. A Padlet is a virtual bulletin board that you can use to display information for any topic, and your kids can contribute to it. We're going to be doing a 3-2-1 summary. And it's going to ask you for 3 new discoveries, 2 interesting facts, and maybe you might have more than one question, because I know that I feel like I went speeding through this, but you might have more than one question, but please feel free to include as many as you want. On this, there is no limit to how many times you can add to this or submit. So I hope that y'all are able to do that. I'm going to give you a little bit of time and leave the code up there. And I'm going to go to my Padlet here on my own personal device to see if we're submitting.
Ms. B, I actually get there's nothing on my page.
What did you type? I'm sorry. How did you try to access it?
Through my laptop?
The QR code works, but the link, the shortcut does not.
Okay, so let me get that for you. I apologize if you're trying to scan. Oh. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to add it to our chat.
Thank you.
Hopefully that works. Let me know, guys.
Yes, it did.
Okay, perfect. It might look a little different on your end because I set this up so that it looks for a computer view, so a desktop view. So it might be looking a little different, but hopefully you can see my screen and kind of get the idea of what I was going for here.
So we sign up?
You don't have to. There should be a little spot that says guest.
No,
There
but I
should
want to
be-
sign up. Is there a charge to sign up?
No, there is no charge. This is the free version. There is a pro version. The only drawback with the free version is you only get 3 Padlets. A Padlet is this, 3 virtual bulletin boards. So that's the only drawback, but a workaround, and don't tell Padlet I said this, is you can have multiple accounts. So I have like 7 Google accounts. So that means I actually have like 21 Padlets. So, but I did get grandfathered into the initial one. So I do have, this account has like 50 Padlets. But now they changed it up. You would have thought they would have opened it up, but that's okay. It's still an amazing free tool. So I'm going to, and I think what I did, and I should have changed that. I feel like y'all are submitting, but I can't see comments, reactions.
Actually, it won't let me even type in it. It just has it like presentation mode.
Mm-hmm.
I can see my answers and everybody else's. I mean, I see a lot of people's answers.
So I just did somebody's here. I don't know why mine's not working on my end. Share. Change privacy. Okay. No, I didn't want to do that. Okay, so the idea is, and I don't know why I'm looking at mine. Okay. I apologize for that. Gosh. All right, so the one on my iPad is working. No. So I apologize. It is working on my iPad. I am seeing a lot of feedback here. And so they have 3 discoveries. I'm sorry that you can't see it here. I'm trying here, but it's working. It might be a glitch on my end. What if I go? Okay, I'm gonna probably have to just let it go. All right. I apologize for that. It is working on my mobile device. So quick question. Let's see if we can troubleshoot this. The people unable, the educators unable to do it. Are you doing it from a laptop, desktop?
I have a laptop.
And it's not letting you?
No, the only thing, it's like frozen, like if you're in presentation mode, and I can right click, but I mean, it doesn't give me any other option. And I just have the options like on the top where it says sign up, login, share, etc. But that's it.
Because it's working on my laptop. So on my on my iPad. So I apologize for that, but just some really cool feedback here. What I'll do is, I like to call it MacGyvering it, because you know MacGyver figures things out. So what I just did is, give me 1 second. I took a screenshot from my iPad and I'm sending it over to my laptop, and we'll just look at the ones that were able to be shown here. All right, let's see. Okay, so I see, it's not loading, but I see lots of different information, guys. I do appreciate it. I'm sorry that this last thing didn't work out for me. Some interesting facts and some new discoveries. This is all great information, especially feedback for myself to be able to, you know, grow professionally, you know, and continue with these professional development sessions. Thank you for that. This is something that you could do. Take a look at Padlet, mess with it. I know it didn't give us the best review, the best practice right now, but check it out, guys. I know that I went by super fast, and I do apologize for that. I am getting some submissions. It is 12:02. I'm gonna ask one thing, and it can be done after Ms. Jamie takes over. I am gonna ask that when you do have the time, because I am applying for my Google Trainer certification, and we do need to give some feedback. When you do have the chance, if you can scan this or type out the code and give me some feedback, and we will use also your, excuse me, your email addresses to provide the template, and I'll restructure my slides presentation to be able to send it out to you guys as well. Miss Jamie, are you available?
Yes, I am here. Thank you so much. I learned so much myself. I've never had the opportunity to use Google, so it was great to learn some things. There were several people that posted in the chat box wanting to know about how you go back and review this presentation. Give us a couple of days to do some edits to it, and then we will post it on the Texas AFT website, and it will also be posted on the Texas AFT YouTube page. And we will be emailing you, Beatrice will be emailing you a link to take an evaluation for her. We do look at these, and you have an evaluation right now on your screen, so please answer those questions. We use this feedback to shape our future trainings. I will be emailing you a CPE certificate. You do get CPE credit for this. We are a TA accredited organization. And if you haven't liked the Bridges Institute for Professional Development page on Facebook and Twitter, please do so, because that's where you find out about our future PD opportunities. For instance, next week, I will be posting it later today. We are going to be doing a T-test on Tuesday afternoon from 5:30 to 7:30. We will be doing a Know Your Rights on Wednesday afternoon from 5:30 to 7:30. And on Thursday, we will be doing the Goal Setting and Professional Development Plan training from 5:30 to 7:30 Thursday evening. And if you are not a member of Texas AFT, please visit the Texas AFT website at texasaft.org. Find your local school district and join there.
Can you give us the name of the Facebook group again, please?
It's the Bridges Institute for Professional Development. And every training that we do, I create an event. So you will be able to see it. So then you'll get a reminder about it once you say that you're going to go or that you're interested.
Also, if you want to see more workshops, please put it in the comments box, what would you like to see so we can know what is the interest of teachers? What is it that the need is? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, VNA.
I would like to thank the presenter. It was really clear. It was really useful. I think it's one of the best trainings I've attended on this. I want to thank the union for taking the effort to reach out. We need more of this, actually. So it's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. We are working diligently on trying to get as many resources to you as we can during this time. If you are using the Zoom platform at all, we will be having a Zoom training tomorrow from 10 to 12. On Thursday, we are going to be doing Schoology. And then on Saturday, we are doing Microsoft Teams. So if you're using any of those platforms, go back to the website and register for those that you are interested in. And then we're going to have 3 trainings next week, and we have a lot more that we are working on.
I do want to thank you guys for this, for giving me the opportunity. I know that I might have overwhelmed you, but I did start away and I said, if at any point you do not feel overwhelmed, stressed, frustrated, confused, or even a little annoyed, guys, then I'm not doing my job to challenge you to grow professionally. And I do appreciate that you gave me the time. Again, like Ms. Jamie and Ms. VNA mentioned earlier, all of these things that we went over today, we can take one thing and spend 2 hours on it or a full day on it. So if it is something that you're interested, let's say you really want to learn, like we saw on the Mentimeter about Edpuzzle. Well, let's take the time to just dissect what Edpuzzle is and how you can utilize it. Let's take the time to create graphic organizers on slides. Or what about just hyperlinking things, on Google Slides? I know that I went through it really fast and I do apologize, but I wanted you guys to know that there's so many different ways that we can provide opportunities in which our learning styles can be transferred into a virtual setting and not feel like you're limited to that your instruction and your teaching styles are being limited because of distance learning. So thank you so much for the time, guys. I do appreciate it so much.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I will give you about 30 more seconds to finish up the evaluation.
Jamie, question for you.
Yes.
You mentioned 2 courses. I'm on the one tomorrow. Which other one did you say?
Zoom is tomorrow from 10 to noon.
Yeah.
On Friday, Schoology is from 10 to noon. And then on Saturday, we are going to have Microsoft Teams from 10 to
What
noon.
is that one what is it about that, the third one you meant, no, the second one you mentioned?
Yeah.
Schoology, it is an actual platform that some districts have purchased to do virtual teaching. So like Fort Bend ISD, which is outside of Houston, they are actually using Schoology platform. And I think A-Leaf is too. So we're trying to meet the needs of all of our members across the state with the different platforms that districts are going to be using through virtual teaching.
So like it's like Google Classroom, but instead it's called that. I don't want to confuse myself with so many things.
So basically,
well,
it's
you
a
would
platform. Yeah, it's a platform where you load your stuff and your appraisers can see what you're doing with everyone. It's already adopted like a text, platform, set platform.
And it would be something that your district had purchased into.
Where you post your lesson plans and stuff. Sorry, I have a question, Beatrice. Very quick question. It's, people have been sharing in other Facebook groups interactive notebooks, like beginning of the year activities. When you download them, you have an option, Google Slides or PowerPoint. And I downloaded one in the form of PowerPoint because we are on Microsoft Teams. Mm-hmm. But our learning system has also some Google. That's why I'm attending this today, because I want to be able to navigate whichever I'm using not sure what is going to be, but they're making some changes. So I'm in between. So how do I make this interactive for the kids? Do I send out the copy so each student has a copy, that PowerPoint, where they're supposed to?
So if you're going to use, if you're using Microsoft PowerPoint though, it just depends on, I think I'm not very proficient in Teams and that platform, but I don't know if they might even have an option where you load it and just like I showed you, every child gets a copy. I really don't know how that works on Teams, but you can download it, work on it as a Microsoft PowerPoint, and if your district decides to go with Google Classroom, you can easily upload that to your Google Drive, and then it can transfer over and become open under Google Slides. So there is a way that if you feel like, okay, let me just work on it on PowerPoint, and if we do decide to go to Google Slides, you can transfer it over on Google Drive.
No problem with either, right? No.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
SB, very quickly, I follow you on Facebook and TikTok and so forth, and I've learned so much from you, so thank you so much for that. I'm kind of confused as far as my admin. We've worked with Google back in March, so I'm pretty proficient in the Google Classroom, but now she wants us to create a Google site where it's just one platform and we hyperlink every subject into that one because she doesn't want to go to every single classroom.
Okay.
So I'm kind of confused as to start a Google site and then how do I hyperlink every single subject if there's so much to do for every single subject?
So what you could do is, I mean, is it doable? Yes. But what you would have to, it would be too much of an undertaking to be done on yourself. Like it would be too much, because are you guys still you're still using Google Classroom though, right? For kids to submit. Okay, so you would have to be like a co-teacher to all the classrooms if you'd have to do that on your own. So the only thing that could be done is teachers would become, you would add co-teachers to your Google site. So but that raises the problem of too many in one, moving things. So I think one of the alternatives could be, I don't know if you guys have like department heads.
No, we don't. We all became self-contained because we were departmentalized, and so now everybody's self-contained.
Okay, so that's the only thing like I would recommend is like if there is a teacher who, what you just said, like if there's a teacher who's in charge of the science portion, then she would work on taking that on. I think that maybe providing a committee, maybe creating a committee for that, because it would be a very huge undertaking for it to be done on your own. But can it be done? Yes. Like we have school Google sites.
Yes.
But what we did is that when we have one site, but when they click on the science one, like let's say 8th grade science, it takes it to the 8th grade science Google site.
Right.
And that one is being organized by the department head, and she's gathering all the information.
Okay.
So just FYI, but of course, feel free to reach out to me. You can find me at Mrs. Topteki anywhere, and we can like work on something together. I don't mind.
I'm actually going to reach out to you in a moment because I don't want to take any time here. But thank you.
No problem.
Hello, this is Esther Wiseman. I also just found out that we are going to be self-contained. Normally, I only teach science. So I was talking to one of the other ladies, and we were thinking that maybe we should each choose the subject that we normally taught, create the lesson plan with the hyperlinks and all the information, and then share it with each other.
I would go that route. That to me is logical. I would suggest to go that route. I don't know how many kiddos you have as well, or how that works, or if you have the autonomy to maybe share kids. Like maybe if you're doing science, I don't know how many kids you have, but you could take care of all the kids for science. If someone's doing math, they can take care of all the kids for math. And so you just start working on one. Of course, if and only if it's okay with your admin.
That's what we did last year, starting in March, but they want me to stick with my kids only. So if
Okay.
the lady who is responsible for math, she knows everything and she creates it and then shares it with me, then I have everything that I can share with my kids. Plus, having it in advance, I can go through it all ahead of time.
Definitely, yeah, totally. That can work that way. You can become a co-teacher. So let's say
Exactly.
y'all can become co-teachers. So you create your lesson, and when you're going to add it, you add it to their classrooms as well.
Yeah.
And so they take care of the end of checking to see if their students are completing it. So
Right.
definitely.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't get in at the beginning because the electricity situation and internet got up late. There is going to be a way for us to access all of this.
I will be sending all this. I will be getting with Jamie as well. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, once we have time to edit the video, we will post it on the Texas AFT Tech Tools link, and then that link will also go to the YouTube channel. So you can go back and review it if there was something that you have right now, but later forget how to do, you can go back and rewatch it.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I wish you the best of luck in the next coming weeks as we continue to navigate this virtual world that we're living in. Hope you and your families are safe and healthy, and we will see you again soon. Take care.